Beautiful energies to you. This sharing is about St. John Bosco, a priest, and his spirit guardian, Power Pooch. When one lives and moves and flows in the divine love of God and keeps their soul in somewhat sparkling condition, amazing things can happen. Here are some stunning words from St. Ambrose. A bishop in the 4th century wrote, quote, "Our soul has a door. It has gates." End of quote. As a follower of Jesus, it is quite amazing what one can experience when staying connected to Yeshua in the higher ways and not the cultural ways, we'll call it. Many people have said, including Rev in the past, I am more spiritual than religious. But when this is said for so many precious people, this word spiritual has so many 3D connotations and meanings attached to it. In other words, it's been dragged through the muck and mire of the 3D ways. The culture will keep us bound to these lower ways, lower vibrations. So much of the culture does not want you to experience the more and be the mystical more and to spread the mystical more. We all have access to the mystical ways, but cultural ways spends so much money and time to keep us bound up in these lower energies. When we live in the glory of God's sparkling love, our soul's door and gates do open to the mystical more. This sharing has some of the mystical more here with a priest, Father John Bosco, and a more than dog named Gregorio. First, a little background info on this priest that became a saint. He was born in 1815 in Italy and died in 1888 in Italy. John was encouraged during his youth in Italy to become a priest so he could work with young boys. He was ordained in 1841. Father John has what I call a mystical DD, a divine doing within him. He had a burden for the youth that ran the streets and the youth that had no parents. The Ruach HaKodesh inspired him to move in these ministries with the youth. After serving as a chaplain in a hospice for working girls, John Bosco opened the oratory of St. Francis de Sales for boys. Several wealthy and powerful patrons contributed money, enabling him to provide the workshops for the boys, like shoemaking and tailoring. If it was not for a local minister and folks who worked with this pastor, it helped forge the way of God's calling on his life. Father John's faith was not just a Sunday thing. It was an every moment thing. Yes, a beautiful one. Every breath we take is sacred. Every step we take is very sacred. We truly are mystical beings the more. In many churches, the mystical life is not accepted, and for many saints, they had to endure extra hardships because they knew how to discover the doors and gates to their soul and how to enter into the mystical ways. Father John trained the whole person, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, and yes, taught them a trade. These kids had nothing the way the world sees stuff, but they had eternal treasures within them. With Pope Pius IX's encouragement, John gathered 17 men and founded the Salesians in 1859. Their activity concentrated on education and mission work. Later, he organized a group of sisters to assist the girls. I have found when you are tight with Abba God, with Yeshua, with the Ruach HaKodesh, and you flow in those doors and gates of your soul, the church will come against you. Darkness will send challenges and try to set traps against you. These opportunities are great opportunities to learn and grow and transform and expand for us to become what we came here to be and do. Father John faced significant challenges and threats to his life throughout his ministry. primarily due to his unwavering commitment to educating and caring for the disadvantaged youth. What I just said is what many articles wrote about dear brother John Bosco. One of the reasons we know so much about him. The world does not appreciate the love and light flowing from a soul that moves and flows in the divine mystical more. Darkness will take their shots at such people. Father John's life lived through many challenges from darkness and from the darkness entering others who wanted him deleted from life. People who move and flow in the mystical are usually persecuted. You see, back in Father John's day, the political climate in Italy during John Bosco's time was often hostile towards the Catholic Church. He faced opposition from those who disliked his influence, fearing his popularity and gathering of young people could lead to revolutionary ideas. He also encountered resistance from some within the clergy who questioned his methods or were opposed to his work. Rev has found out that agape love, pure love, is not really taught or really flows in most churches because people have to change, be transformed into their real life, a real calling of why they are here. So certain officials were concerned that Father John and his sons might start that revolution. Of course, they were not thinking of a revolutionary way of unconditional love, though. His love was, his life, and his love for life was threatened so many times. But the mystical ways always showed up to assist Father John. I have been blessed with mystical beings showing up when I needed them. So for Father John, there was this mystical protector, a huge mystical big dog that became known as Gregorio, which means gray. Rev's life has been threatened many times, but the mystical one showed up just like Gregorio did for Father John. Time after time, Gregorio would show up when others were determined to destroy Father John's life. Gregorio would appear, and after the attacks of these people were thwarted and these evil people left, Gregorio would disappear, vanish. No one ever saw Gregorio eat or sleep or ever saw him elsewhere. This angelic mystical dog never aged throughout Father John's life. Angelic ones can arrive in so many different forms and ways. Rev loves these visitations. The day of my stroke in 2021, I was out front in a daze waiting for the wife to take me to the hospital, and I've shared this many times. She knew what had happened to me being a nurse for 44 and a half years. Well, she was running around taking care of the animals and gathering clothes for me because she knew I'd be staying in the hospital, which I did for 13 days. My dark nemesis showed up and picked me up and threw me down on our brick walkway twice, and he had me in his grasp for the third time when this being of light appeared. He did not look like an angel out of Christian artwork, but he was very different. When his light and glory showed up, my nemesis put his tail between his scaly legs and he vanished. This angel being had energy bands on his backside. They were not big, huge wings, which I've seen angels who have had these larger wings. It would be great to sit down and talk to Father John about his mystical experiences and his guardian angelic dog, Gregorio. Do we all have these guardian angelic ones around us? And yes, they come in so many different ways and forms, but it takes awareness of the more to focus in. It seems, souls of the more, when we walk and move in our calling from God, the protectors come forth. I have seen many come forth. One evening when I was asked for protection when we were in what we call the meadow, we were doing a ceremony. These ones had this angelic rhythm of their wings flapping in unison. The glory was astonishing. It was amazing. Many in Father John's day who saw Gregorio when he arrived would write about this gray mystical dog protector, so that that's why we know. Think of the confidence one can walk in when even in the darkest alleys of life, when I used to do street ministry with druggies and prostitutes and mean people, I could walk in the pure love of God and knew these angelic ones were with me and walking with me. The wife and I have two four-leggeds that are aware when higher ones show up. Yes, they're pure four-legged, but they have something, a sensitivity to heavenly visitors and angels and saints. Father John was well protected from his heavenly sent hound named Gregorio. What a joy to know for Father, he had this heavenly pooch that would stand between him and the storms of darkness. What about you, soul of the Moor? Always remember, your soul has doors and gates to the mystical Moor of God. The beautiful blessings of God flow through you and gather within you in glorious ways. We are amazing beings in the Moor. It is quite amazing what we have access to. Yes, 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 yes. You are a soul of the Moor of the higher realms. Till next time, blessings be with you.